Yes, dear students, so today's session is a very interesting one. So because we are going to learn about colligative properties. So most interesting properties are there. So today we are going to learn about those properties. So let me tell you what are these colligative properties. So actually these are the properties of our dilute solutions. Dilute solutions. So dear students, there are some properties which depends mainly upon number of solute particles. So those properties which depends upon number of solute particles irrespective of their nature, relative to total number of particles present in the solution. I will tell you what this definition says. Dear students, in our solution we have solute particles as well as solvent particles. Now there are certain properties which depends only on number of solute particles but not on number of solvent particles. Even these properties does not depends upon the nature of solute particles. Means solute particles may be ions, they may be molecules, whatever it may be, but it depends only on number of solute particles. So such properties are called colligative properties. So for our study we have mainly 4 colligative properties are there. So first one is relative lowering of vapor pressure of solvent. Second one, elevation of boiling point of solvent. Third one, depression in freezing point of solvent. And the fourth one is osmotic pressure of solution. Okay. So first we will write the definition of colligative properties. So properties which depends upon number of solute particles irrespective of their nature relative to total number of particles present in the solution. Relative to total number of particles present in the solution. So it means comparing all the particles means we have solute as well as solvent particles, but these properties mainly depends upon number of solute particles. So the 4 well-known colligative properties are: first one, relative lowering of vapor pressure. Of solvent. The second one is elevation in boiling point. Of solvent. And the third property is depression in freezing point. Depression in freezing point of solvent. A fourth colligative property is osmotic pressure of solution. Osmotic pressure of solution. So now we are going to learn these properties in details. So first let me consider relative lowering of vapor pressure of the solvent. Relative lowering of vapor pressure of solvent. Okay, so dear students, you might be remembering what is this vapor pressure. I have told you in my previous classes. So liquid solutions. So while discussing liquid solutions, I have told you about vapor pressure. Let me remind you once again. It is the pressure exerted by the vapors of a liquid over another liquid or over the solution when both of them are in equilibrium. When the vapors and the solution or vapors or another liquid, they are in equilibrium. So whatever the pressure exerted by the vapors is called its vapor pressure. So now we are going to learn about relative lowering of vapor pressure. Here vapor pressure is going to lower. Vapor pressure is going to decrease. So students, remember, pure solvent has more vapor pressure, because in pure solvent what happens? We have only solvent molecules and the escaping tendency of solvent molecule is high. That's why its vapor pressure is also high. Say for suppose we have prepared a solution. In this solution what happens? We have solute particles as well as solvent particles. So the surface is covered with both solute as well as the solvent. Now escaping tendency of solvent molecules decreases. As a result, vapor pressure of solution decreases. Now it is clear that vapor pressure of pure solvent, it is always higher than vapor pressure of a solution. Hope it is understood. Vapor pressure of pure solvent is high. Okay. So vapor pressure of solution is low because surface of the solution is covered by both solute as well as solvent molecules. Only solvent molecules, the escaping tendency of solvent molecules decreases. So therefore vapor pressure of solution is less. If you see the difference, so vapor pressure of pure solvent is high, vapor pressure of solution is less. If you see the difference, then it is called lowering of vapor pressure. It is called lowering of vapor pressure. So what is this relative lowering of vapor pressure of solvent means? So suppose vapor pressure of pure solvent is represented by P1 naught and vapor pressure of the solution is given by P1. That is called P1 naught minus P1 is lowering of vapor pressure. If you divided by vapor pressure of pure solvent P1 naught, then the quantity is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. Okay, So generally what happens when we dissolve a non-volatile solute, the vapor pressure of pure solvent decreases because now it becomes a solution. Okay, so let us write about a relative lowering of vapor pressure. When a non-volatile solute is dissolved, when a non-volatile solute is dissolved, vapor pressure of pure solvent decreases. So therefore I have told you pure solvent has more vapor pressure and solution has less vapor pressure. If you see the difference, that difference is called lowering of vapor pressure. The difference is called lowering of vapor pressure. Okay. So now lowering of vapor pressure is equal to lowering of vapor pressure is equal to P1 naught minus P1. So what is P1 naught here? Vapor pressure of pure solvent, and P1 is vapor pressure of solution. So here P1 naught is vapor pressure, Vp means vapor pressure here, of pure solvent, vapor pressure of pure solvent, and P1 is vapor pressure of solution, vapor pressure of solution. Okay, so this is about lowering of vapor pressure. So first term, vapor pressure of pure solvent which is higher. Second term, vapor pressure of solution which is lower. So higher minus lower gives how much lowers? Lowering of vapor pressure. Okay. So now I want relative lowering of vapor pressure. Relative lowering of vapor pressure. So in short I will call it as RLVP. Relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught. Now hope it is clear. Very simple one. So now what is this? What is this P1 naught minus P1? It is lowering of vapor pressure of the solution. What is P1 naught? It is vapor pressure of pure solvent. Now you can easily define what is relative lowering of vapor pressure of a solvent. So it is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure of solvent to the vapor pressure of pure solvent. It is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure. It is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure of the solution to the vapor pressure of pure solvent. Vapor pressure of pure solvent. So this ratio is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. This ratio is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. So I will write the definition here. So relative lowering of vapor pressure is defined as the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure, the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure of solution to the vapor pressure of pure solvent, vapor pressure of pure solvent. So now this is the definition of relative lowering of vapor pressure. So now mathematically how can we write means, see here, lowering of vapor pressure P1 naught minus P1. So that can be given by delta P1. So that is the change in vapor pressure. Delta P1 is nothing but P1 naught minus P1. So which is also gives lowering of vapor pressure. So delta P1 is also known as lowering of vapor pressure, or it is the change in vapor pressure, higher minus lower. So now let us apply our Raoult's law. According to Raoult's law, what is P1? P1 is equal to P1 naught into x1 we can write. According to Raoult's law, P1 is equal to P1 naught into x1 we can write. So let us substitute here. So it is P1 naught minus P1 naught into x1. So let us take the common factor P1 naught 1 minus x1. So according to mole fraction concept, x1 plus x2 is equal to 1. So therefore x2 is equal to 1 minus x1. Let us substitute x1. P1 naught 1 minus x1 is x2. So this is delta P1. So now see here, delta P1 is equal to P1 naught into x2. Delta P1 is equal to P1 naught into x2. So now what is delta P1? P1 naught minus P1. So let me write once again. P1 naught minus P1 is equal to P1 naught into x2. So let me rearrange the terms. P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to x2. You observe the term here. See, what is this P1 naught minus P1 by P1 naught? It is relative lowering of vapor pressure, and that is equal to, what is our x2? Dear students, remember that I am using the subscript 1 for solvent and 2 for solute. x2 mole fraction of solute. So therefore, see, I have derived this one by using the Raoult's law. Sometimes it is also known as Raoult's law of relative lowering of vapor pressure. Raoult's law of relative lowering of vapor pressure. So according to this one, relative lowering of vapor pressure, is equal to mole fraction of solute. Relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to mole fraction of solute. That is x2. Relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to mole fraction of solute. Sometimes it is also called as Raoult's law of relative lowering of vapor pressure. Raoult's law of relative lowering of vapor pressure. For convenience, I have written RLVP, but this is not the exact short form of relative lowering of vapor pressure. So now we came to understand that relative lowering of vapor pressure of a solution is equal to mole fraction of solute. So now what I am going to do is, let us substitute the value of x2. What is x2? Mole fraction of solute. We know that x2 mole fraction of solute is equal to number of moles of solute N2 divided by N1 plus N2. So let us substitute. So P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to, that is equal to x2, or x2 can be written as N2 divided by N1 plus N2. N1 plus N2 according to mole fraction concept. So according to mole fraction concept, X2 is equal to N2 divided by N1 plus N2. I have just substituted. Now you observe the denominator. For dilute solution, the number of moles of solute is very small. So that's why N2 is very smaller than N1. N2 is very smaller than N1. Hence, N2 is neglected in the denominator for dilute solutions. For dilute solutions, N2, number of moles of solute. What are dilute solutions? Solutions in which solute is present relatively in the very small quantity I have told you. So that's why N2 is very smaller than N1. So N2 is neglected in the denominator. N2 is neglected in the denominator. So now what happens? P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to N2 divided by N1. N2 divided by N1. So now let us substitute the values of N2 and N1. So what is N2? N2 is equal to W2 divided by M2. Mass divided by molar mass. Number of moles is equal to mass divided by molar mass. So similarly, what is N1? It is W1 divided by M1. Okay. So let us substitute. Here. So now what is N2? W2 divided by M2 and W1 divided by M1. So after rearranging, let us rearrange. P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to, so let us rearrange, W2 M1 divided by W1 into M2. So this is the important formula to calculate molar mass of solute. This is the important formula to calculate molar mass of solute while calculating the relative lowering of vapor pressure. So let me tell you, P1 naught is vapor pressure of pure solvent. P1 is vapor pressure of solution. So P1 naught, you know, it is vapor pressure of pure solvent. W2. See, W2 and W1 we have. W2 means mass of solute. W1 is mass of solvent. Remember one thing, I am using subscript 1 for solvent and 2 for solute. So mass of solute, mass of solvent. M1 is molar mass of solvent. M2 is molar mass of solute. Like that, by knowing the all other things, you can calculate M2 value, that is the molar mass calculation, molar mass of solute calculation. And calculation of molar mass of solute are the well known problems. So we have 4 colligative properties. On the basis of these 4 colligative properties, you will get a question on solving molar mass of solute for 3 marks in the PU examination. So problems are also important. So let us solve a problem on relative lowering of vapor pressure of solvent. Okay. So here is the problem. It goes like this. The vapor pressure of pure benzene at a certain temperature is 0.850 bar. A non-volatile, non-electrolyte solid weighing 0.5 gram when added to 39.0 gram of benzene. Its molar mass is 78 gram per mole. Vapor pressure of the solution then is 0.845 bar. What is the molar mass of solid substance? To solve the problems in solution chapter, first, after reading the problem, it should be very clear to you people that which one is a solute and which one is a solvent. So dear students, it is very easy to identify the solute and solvent because we have defined solute and solvent like this. A component that is present in very smaller quantity is a solute and a component that is present in largest quantity is a solvent. It means by looking the masses of component you can decide which one is a solute and which one is a solvent. You see here, if you read the problem, so vapor pressure of pure benzene, okay, we'll come to this point later. You see here, a solid weighing 0.5 gram and 39 gram of benzene. Mass of this one is less, that's why solid is a solute and benzene is a solvent here. So like that you can identify. Vapor pressure of pure benzene, vapor pressure of pure solvent, that is our P1 naught. P1 naught. So solution. Let me read the given things. So what are the things given? Given P1 naught is given. Vapor pressure of pure solvent is given and it is 0.850 bar. Okay. See again in this sentence, vapor pressure of the solution P1 is given. So P1 is equal to 0.845 bar. Okay, we got P1 naught and P1. So what is this 0.5 gram here? Solid. Solid is a solute. Mass of solute. Mass I will write by W. Mass of solute means take W2. W2 is equal to 0.5 gram. And what is this? 39 gram of benzene. It is mass of benzene, mass of solvent. So therefore, that is W1. W1 is 39.0 grams. So molar mass of solvent is given. That is M1. Molar mass is represented by capital M. So as it is a solvent, take it as M1. So M1 is equal to 78 gram per mole. 78 gram per mole. Okay. So what is the question? What we need to calculate in this problem means we have to calculate molar mass of solid. Means molar mass of solute we have to calculate. That is represented by M2 and M2 is question mark. So this is about the given data. Soon after looking into problem, you should be able to identify these data. Then only you can solve the problem correctly. So coming to the formula. So the formula is P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to W2M1 W2M1 divided by W1 into M2. So this is the formula. So now you can rearrange it. You can rearrange it to get the value for M2. So M2 is equal to keep M2 as it is. Take this M2 this side. So we have left out with W2M1 W2 into M1 divided by W1. So now, so if this quantity comes to the right, it will revert. So P1 naught divided by P1 naught minus P1, it becomes like this on rearranging. Now you just substitute the values. Okay, so now So what is W2? It is 0.5 gram. 0.5. What is M1? It is 78 and W1 39. P1 naught is 0.850 divided by P1 naught 0.850 minus 0.845. Okay, so after solving these values you will get answer as 170. So what is the unit of molar mass? Unit is very important. So without unit 1 mark will be deducted. So 170, the unit of molar mass is gram per mole. You can see here it is given. Molar mass is in gram per mole. So that's why you will get M2 value in gram per mole. So like that we can expect a 3-mark question, a 3-mark problem on relative lowering of vapor pressure. Hope it is understood. So the next concept is elevation of boiling point of solvent, that is given by delta TB. In order to understand what is elevation of boiling point, you must understand what is boiling point of a liquid first. So dear students, so boiling point of a liquid, it is the temperature. So generally what we say is it is the temperature at which liquid starts boiling, or liquid will convert into gaseous phase. So that is the generalization. But by taking vapor pressure we can define boiling point of a liquid like this. It is the temperature at which vapor pressure of a liquid becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. It is the temperature at which vapor pressure of liquid becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. How much atmospheric pressure means? 1 atmosphere, that is approximately equal to 1.013 bar. So what we need to do here is we just increase the temperature of the liquid so that liquid will reach to that particular pressure, that is 1 atmosphere or 1.013 bar. If the vapor pressure of the liquid will reach to 1 atmosphere, so by that time what is the temperature attained by the liquid, that temperature itself is called its boiling point. Okay, so it has been observed that the boiling point of solution is more and the boiling point of pure solvent is less. Boiling point of solution is more, boiling point of pure solvent is less. How it is, I will show you. Before that we will write the definition of boiling point. So boiling point of a liquid. It is the temperature at which vapor pressure of liquid becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. I have told you this boiling point of solution is more and boiling point of pure solvent is less. How it is means, just to make you understand. Say, so this is the okay, later I will show you by taking the graph also. It is the vapor pressure. So we know that vapor pressure of pure solvent is high. It is solvent. And vapor pressure of solution is less. Say it is here, vapor pressure. This is for solution. Now, this is 1 atmospheric pressure. Okay. So now, on heating it should reach to this point to get its boiling point. So which one is required more temperature? Obviously solution required more temperature. Okay, because its vapor pressure is less. To increase the more and more vapor pressure, you need more and more temperature. In other words, vapor, in order to make reach of vapor pressure of solution to atmospheric pressure, more temperature is required. That's why I say the boiling point of solution is always higher than that of boiling point of pure solvent. Boiling point of solution is higher than that of boiling point of solution. So this is roughly. Even we can show this by using the graph which is given in our NCERT textbook. Okay. So I will draw the graph here. So almost same graph. Just to make you understand how the boiling point of solution is higher than that of pure solvent. Say it is 1 atmosphere. 1 atmosphere is nothing but 1.013 bar also. Okay. So I have taken vapor pressure along the x-axis, y-axis, and temperature. It is in Kelvin. Okay. So now this is the okay. So observe this point. This is the graph for solvent. So this is boiling point. For boiling point I am writing in short BP, boiling point of solvent. Okay. And this is for boiling point of solution. So this point is boiling point of solution. Here it is clear that the boiling point of solution is higher than that of boiling point of solution is higher than that of boiling point of pure solvent. Okay. So boiling point of solvent, say it is represented by, so the temperature means the boiling point of solvent, it is represented as TB naught. TB naught, boiling point of pure solvent, TB naught. And so this point, it is boiling point of solution, say it is TB. So this difference is called delta TB. That is what our elevation of boiling point. So the difference between this TB and TB naught, boiling point of solution, boiling point of pure solvent. So this difference is called elevation of boiling point. From this graph, hope it is clear that boiling point of solution is higher than that of boiling point of solvent. If we subtract TB from TB naught, TB minus TB naught, this quantity is called delta TB, and that is what our elevation of boiling point of solvent. Okay. So observation I am writing here. The boiling point of solution is boiling point of solution is higher, solution is higher than that of boiling point of pure solvent, boiling point of pure solvent. So now I am going to write the definition of delta TB, elevation of boiling point, and elevation of boiling point is going to represented by delta TB, delta TB. So this delta TB is equal to, always you have to take higher value minus lower value. Elevation of boiling point is equal to, that is TB. What is TB? Boiling point of solution minus boiling point of pure solvent. So delta TB is equal to TB minus TB naught. So elevation in boiling point is equal to, it is the difference between boiling point of solution to the, it is the difference between boiling point of solution and boiling point of pure solvent. Boiling point of solution and boiling point of pure solvent. So this difference is called elevation of boiling point. So for dilute solution, so this elevation of boiling point delta TB is directly proportional to molality. Okay, for dilute solutions, this elevation of boiling point delta TB is directly proportional to small m. What is this small m? It is molality. Molality. Okay. So now, in order to remove this proportionality constant, delta TB is equal to some kb into small m. Say this one as equation 1. So now, what is kb here? kb is important one. So here kb is called molar elevation constant. kb is called molar elevation constant. It is also known as ebullioscopic constant. Molar elevation constant or ebullioscopic constant. So small m is molality of the solution. Delta TB is elevation of boiling point of solution. What is kb? So here kb is called, so kb is nothing but molar elevation constant. Molar elevation constant or ebullioscopic constant. Ebullioscopic constant. Okay, so now, so sometime we may ask the definition of what is ebullioscopic constant or what is molar elevation constant or what is elevation of boiling point constant. Like that we can ask for 1 mark. So let me tell you what is the definition of this kb. You observe the kb here. Kb is equal to delta TB divided by small m or elevation of boiling point divided by molality. If molality small m is equal to 1, what is molality? Number of moles of solute present in 1 kg of solvent. Molality is equal to 1 means what? 1 mole of solute is dissolved in 1 kg of solvent. So very simple. So if this value becomes 1, then kb is equal to delta TB. So then kb is equal to elevation of boiling point produced. Okay. So very simple one. So now let us write the definition of kb. Definition of kb. Definition of kb. So molar elevation constant or ebullioscopic constant is defined as it is the elevation of boiling point produced when 1 mole of non-volatile solute is dissolved in 1 kg of solvent. It is the elevation of boiling point produced when 1 mole of non-volatile solute is dissolved in 1 kg of solvent. Yes, that is the definition. So, it is the elevation of boiling point produced. It is the elevation of boiling point produced elevation of boiling point produced when 1 mole of non-volatile solute, 1 mole of non-volatile solute is dissolved in 1 kg of solvent. 1 kg of solvent. So coming to the unit of kb. kb is important. What is the unit of kb? kb is equal to delta Tb divided by small m. M is molality, mole per kg. Delta Tb is elevation of boiling point, means it is the temperature. Temperature means Kelvin. So therefore, unit of kb is unit of kb is Kelvin. See, molality comes to denominator, mole per kg. It becomes kg per mole. Kelvin kg per mole. And we have to remember the value of kb for water. Sometime it will be given, sometime may not be given in the problems. So kb for water is 0.52. kb for water 0.52 Kelvin kg per mole. So this is about the concept of kb. This concept is also known as ebullioscopy, where kb is called ebullioscopic constant. Okay. So now see our equation 1. Delta Tb is equal to, I am writing equation 1 implies delta Tb is equal to kb into small m. What is small m here? It is molality. Hope you remember the expression for molality. So I am going to substitute the expression of molality in this equation 1. So we know that molality m is equal to W2 into 1000 divided by W1 into M2. So while discussing molality, I have already told you it is W2 into 1000 divided by W1 into M2. How it is, I can give you here. So molality small m is nothing but number of moles of solute N2 divided by mass of solvent in kg W1 bar 1000. What is N2? Number of moles of solute. It is given by W2 divided by M2. So W1 divided by 1000. So rearrange it, you will get W2 into 1000 divided by W1 into M2. So that's why I have written molality m is equal to W2 into 1000 divided by W1 into M2. So now let us just substitute the value of molality small m in this equation 1. So now delta Tb is equal to so kb kb into W2 into 1000 divided by W1 into M2. So this equation is important for us to solve problems on molar mass of solute. Yes, this expression is important to solve the problems on molar mass. Okay, so this equation will take the form of M2 is equal to for the calculation of molar mass of solute, this equation will take the form Kb into W2 into 1000 divided by W1 into delta Tb. So by knowing all these factors, sometimes Kb will be given, sometimes directly delta Tb may not be given. First we have to calculate. We can calculate it very easily. You see here, delta Tb is equal to Tb minus Tb naught. Boiling point of solution, boiling point of pure solvent. If water is given, boiling point of pure water you can know, it is 373.15. So like that we can calculate delta Tb, and after substituting you can get the value of M2. So this is about elevation of boiling point. So we'll solve some two problems on this concept.